This video is going to be all about how to cover dark circles and puffiness under the eyes. If you're feeling really frustrated, I believe this is going to be really helpful, taking your look from this to this. Hi, I'm Monique. I like to do beginner makeup type videos just for anyone that feels really overwhelmed and frustrated, especially if you're more mature or you just have dry skin. Just in general, you're just kind of clueless about makeup, someone that's still figuring it out herself. I've picked up some tricks along the way. So for the tools that I think will be really helpful as far as covering up dark circles and dark under eye and puffiness, I do believe concealers are amazing for this, and there are certain type of concealers that I believe are the best. Now right off the bat, I have a pot concealer. This is from Glossier, and I think pot concealers do a lot of groundwork as far as covering up any darkness. I won't get into color correcting and stuff like that because I think that might be a little bit overwhelming for beginners, but I think a good pot concealer can work wonders. Definitely a more liquid formula as well that's typically in a wand, I think, for concealers for under the eye works really well. So I'm using the Hourglass and it's in the color Brandy for this video. I'm mainly going to use that, and I'm going to use a highlighter pen. This is the YSL's highlighter. This is going to be a little bit pricey, but there are others on the market, and I will try to put little pictures here and there of other alternatives that you can use. But I think for under eye specifically, especially if you're older, it really does help to get more of a creamy, more hydrating consistency. And definitely skin prep is crucial for any makeup application. I love using this particular eye cream, or I would maybe call it more of an eye serum. I usually use it for most of my skin prep, and I think just making sure the under eye area isn't dry, especially if you're older, that will make a huge difference. So just to start off with, I think I'm going to just start off by putting a little bit of concealer onto my eyes, and I'm just going to show you just the proper placement for it. Just take your wand if you're using more of a liquid concealer, and what I would like to do is mainly place it just close to where the darkness is. So right towards the inner corner of the eye typically is where you're going to get most of your darkness, but I don't try to dab it right exactly in that spot. I just try to dab just a teensy bit amount around there, and you can see right there, not too much product. I think with makeup in general, even if you're dealing with a lot of discoloration, I think going in with less usually works out, especially with the under eye area being as thin as it is, does wonders. As far as tools for your concealer, I have at least 2 concealer brushes that I'm going to be using today. I have more of a flat tapered concealer brush. This is very easy to come by. You can get this anywhere from Amazon to your local beauty supply store, anywhere. You just want to get something that's a little bit flat, a little bit more dense packed bristles that can kind of fit into the shape of where your inner corner is. And I believe that is really good to start off with. So I'm going to take my brush, and I've been talking as I've been explaining, and partly I'm doing this because I'm giving the concealer time to set. With concealer in particular, it's better for coverage if you do not automatically start blending out right away. Give it a little bit of time to set in place, and then you can start get to work. So here, and you're just gonna do like a light tapping motion back and forth, almost kind of like massaging that product in. This concealer is a little bit brightening, which is great because that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that area to brighten up, and you can see how much this product spreads. Hourglass unfortunately is a little bit more pricey as far as their makeup products, but I feel like for the price point, a lot of their stuff is very good. I can definitely do recommendations for more cheaper concealers, but I think this one is a really high quality one, and it does an amazing, impactful job as far as finish. So as you can see, I'm just slowly spreading it out. So I'm doing like a light bouncing or tapping motion, and I'm just spreading it right out to the outer corner. And that's the main idea, is that you want to just continue to tap out and blend. If there's any makeup product that you're going to invest money in, I would make it concealer. There's a lot of great concealers on the market from many different price points, but I think in particular, if you're willing to spend a little bit of coin, I think the concealer will be worth the investment, definitely in long run as well. It's just something to consider. You can see a massive difference in how my under eye looks. I'll even zoom in a little bit more, and you can see just how much amazing coverage that has. And you can see I didn't put a ton of product on. 1 or 2 dabs just a little bit below where the darkness is at the center. Gave the concealer a little bit of time to settle, and then just started lightly tapping that out. And it already does an amazing job of covering a lot of that dark eye under circle. Now I'm gonna go in with a teensy bit of foundation. Now for me, a lot of the times I like actually using a skin tint, and one of my favorite skin tints is also from Hourglass, and it's their Veil skin tint. I have it in color 15. This is a very hydrating formula. It says so right in the name, and it does wonders for me, but it's also a little bit on the pricier side. So if you're someone that's older or with dry skin, you don't have to necessarily go with this formula, but skin tints I think are a lot more forgiving than foundation. Foundation definitely for beginners can be a wee bit intense. I'm just gonna dot, and I'm gonna blend out. You do not have to use a Rare Beauty brush, but I like a lot of the Rare Beauty brushes and tools. I think they're really good. And I'm just gonna kind of spread this out gently, and I'm gonna just do a little bit in that area where the concealer is, not too much into it because I don't want to undo all the work that I've just done, but I'm just gonna tap and blend outwards. And I'm just getting some of that foundation just kind of around the area, but not going directly on top of the work I just did with the concealer. So I already have the first layer of concealer, and I dabbed a little bit, cancel out some of the darkness. I'm gonna go in with another concealer brush. This is from Sephora. This is their Pro Concealer number 57, and you'll see that it's got a little bit more of a fluffier dome, and this is a good one for stippling. Stippling will definitely help you as far as spreading out product, and it's just that kind of tapping motion that I was doing earlier instead of just large broad swipes. So if you have a little bit of puffiness, say like I have that little line there, that's normal for most people, and then some will have like just a little bit of puffiness just right underneath. A good trick is using like a highlighter concealer pen. As I said, this is the YSL one. This is in 6.5. You do not have to get YSL. There's others on the market, but I like the YSL one, so I will use that. So I got some of the product out, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just put some lightly just around the line there. So again, I don't go like directly on top of where there's a little bit of puffiness or where that little line is. I'm just kind of going under, and you don't want to go right on top of your puffy circles, because I think I would probably draw a little bit more attention to them. You just want to go a little bit underneath. Just going to do a little line there. Okay. So you can see I got the streaks underneath there. And then again, I'm going to wait for a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to kind of settle into place. Okay, so I gave it a little bit of time, and I'm going to just start tapping away. So again, with this more fluffy concealer brush, I am going to start stippling. So just light taps, back and forth, almost like I'm massaging the product in, and then I'm going to just tap outwards. You can see just how much more light that has. And then this product has a little bit of iridescent sparkles in it. Not overwhelming sparkles, but enough that light refracting type properties in it that it kind of helps bring out the highlight of that area a little bit without being overwhelming. And I'm just going to do the same thing for the other side, just little light tapping motions. Because of your eye folds and just the anatomy of our skin in general, it is normal that there is going to be a teensy bit of creasing, but skin prep, letting the concealer take a little bit of time to set on the skin before immediately diving in with your brush to blend out, will help cut down on the creasing. Also go in with your finger a little bit, just your finger pads, and then lightly tap. If you feel like there's a little bit excess product, try to use clean fingers when you do this as well. You don't want to disrupt the products if you have like a lot of creams and substances that can kind of mess with the integrity of the products. So try clean fingers. So you just go over a little bit more with the brush. Tap, 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 tap. Nice and easy. And then you get a lot more coverage. Definitely if you have a lot more darkness, you're probably going to want to go in with a heavier concealer. There's definitely those on the market that are really good. The NARS Soft Matte Concealer is a little bit drier in consistency, but it definitely does a lot more coverage work. But I think with makeup, especially if you're going for a more natural look, you're not necessarily going for completely blanketed out entirely, but just doing a better camouflage so that the rest of your face is kind of congruent and everything just looks a little bit smoother. I don't really strive for perfection. I just strive for a little bit better than without. That's kind of my philosophy, because I do really like light makeup. One of the final steps before you use like a nice setting spray to pat everything down is using a little bit of powder underneath the eyes just to keep the concealer in place, because a lot of times concealers do tend to crease. The better the formula, the thinner that you apply, and kind of working and taking your time like I did will definitely better the longevity of it, but it will naturally crease a little bit. But to help stop that and slow that down is definitely using like a setting powder. So I have the Becca setting powder with me. This is unfortunately discontinued, but any powder that advertises itself as under eye brightening and setting works really nicely. One that I use a lot is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch. They come in different colors. Mine is in cinnamon, so that's like a nice pressed powder that you can use underneath to set concealer. But for today, I'm just going to use the Becca one because I really do like it, but I hold on to it because it's not readily available anymore. And I have a nice fluffy brush, and it's kind of angled and domed a bit. Just going to tap into the cover, tap the excess off, and I'm just going to go lightly underneath and press that powder into the under eye here. One thing that I really liked about this Becca powder, it has little fragments of like little light catching fragments in it as well, so it really looks nice when it's photographed. I really wish it wasn't discontinued because it's such a good product. But as I said, there are definitely a lot of loose powders, setting powders that are specifically for under the eye, or just a general loose powder that you would use on the entire face. Absolutely can use under the eye. So this is my finished look. I just put in some setting powder all over my face. I love using the Kosas Silky Cloud Set. I think this is number 7, and it's just nice overall dusting. I also used a little bit of blush from e.l.f., their Camo Liquid Blush, and it is like bronze bombshell. And then I use So Romanand, their dark coconut lip gloss, and just wanted a nice chocolatey look. But you can see just how much more awake under my eyes look. It's a lot more seamless. It's really just fresh, and it kind of wakes you up a bit. So I hope this was helpful. As I said, I think as far as main tools, just these two type of concealer brushes for under the eye work really well. Taking your time, less product is more, and just giving the product time to sit on the skin, kind of absorb, and then just gently blending out, stippling it out, and it will do a lot better job of covering some of that darkness and discoloration. So I hope this was helpful. I do plan to make more videos like this in nature, just really basic makeup tips that I have come to understand and learn over the years of me trialing and erroring with a lot of different type of makeup. I just enjoy dabbling in it. I think it's very soothing and I like using it, and I'm hoping that I'm helping a segment of people that are a little bit older, have drier skin, and are more concerned about these type of things. So till the next video, bye.